got into rare breed Valley Black Nose sheep, which was quite interesting, but quite a different change of pace from having 1,000 of one type to having 5 that you pamper and treat like a pet. Like I've never had to wash a sheep head to toe.
Right. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. This is Chatzzz episode 20, and we've got a very special guest, Mike Walters. Welcome to the podcast.
Cheers for having me. I'm not sure if it's a very special guest, but we'll see.
Loads of people say that about a special guest. I reckon move in slightly this way, get a bit nearer. We can see ourselves. But yeah, people don't think it's special, but I think it's special anyway. So I prepped you. Was it on Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's Thursday now. Everyone always struggles with these 3 facts. So tell us 3 facts about yourself.
Well, I grew up on a farm in the hills, so a bit of Lakeland hill farming, great in summer, miserable in winter. So that basically shaped my childhood. I'll take that as one. The other one, I've got a undergrad in engineering and a master's in science, and then do something completely non-related to that. And the third and potentially only interesting fact is when I was traveling after uni, we managed to bag ourselves a place on a Bollywood film. So we did like a day of filming, just messing around on that, really. That's
cool. That's cool.
That's my 3 facts.
Yeah, they're interesting though, I think. So for anyone that probably doesn't know about growing up, so how was it then growing up for you in the, like on a farm and that kind of thing? 'Cause that's very different. So people that might be watching might not be from around here or even like in other countries. So what's it like living in the Lake District and living in a farm specifically for you growing up?
It was very remote. We live halfway up a hill in the Lake District, so it's pretty bleak some days, but it is working a lot. Like whatever the weather, you're out, you're in among it, which like I said can be great in summer because you've got amazing views, great weather, but in winter when you're like knee deep in snow or driving rain or something like that, the animals still need fed, you still need to do the jobs. So it kind of gave you a bit of a just get on with it and do it mentality and make the most of when things are good, because they often but yeah, no, it was good. We spent most of my life outside playing or messing around or working. So I think that's pretty valuable now, because especially as most of my life's on a computer, and a lot of kids nowadays don't leave their iPads or anything like that. So I think that was quite a good thing growing up.
Yeah, definitely. So, what kind of farm was it then? Or is it?
Yeah, it is. Mum and Dad still farm there. So it's animals, basically. So sheep and cows. The main thing was breeding sheep, 2 different sheep together, and then the lamb that comes off that is a specific breed that gets sent down country, and they breed from it. You can't breed from it. They grow it up and sell it on as lamb and all that kind of stuff. So that was the main thing that we did. But we also had cows that we bred for females to breed from and males to sell for others to breed and things like that. And then we occasionally did a bit of arable, so barley, but that was fed back to the animals during different times of the year. And then fairly recently, before I left for uni, we got into rare breed Valley Black Nose sheep, which was quite interesting, but quite a different change of pace from having 1,000 of one type to having 5 that you pamper and treat like a pet. Like I've never had to wash a sheep head to toe before. That was an interesting one. Blow drying it and everything.
Why'd you have to do that then to that type of sheep? What's different to that?
So you show them, I mean, they're much more valuable per animal. And so you show them, and a lot of people can keep them as pets or rare breeds. So when you show them, the white's got to be white, the black's got to be black, and they've got to be fluffy and nice and like showing any animal really. And so yeah, it's just like they live out on a farm. So if it's muddy and wet, they come in muddy and wet, and you've got to clean them up or everything like that. Which is it's quite a job actually, washing a sheep.
I can imagine,
because they have wool literally everywhere, and they just roll in mud all the time. So yeah.
Interesting. Oh, cool. So the second fact was you went to uni and you've got one degree and one master's.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was engineering.
Yeah, so I did chemical engineering as my undergrad.
Yeah. What made you choose that then out of every course in the world? Because there's a million out there at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, I've always been engineering based, maths and science, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I wanted to do something which I thought would make a difference and also make me money. Which, I mean, seems obvious. I mean, some people do degrees that potentially they won't get any money at, but that's where it started off. And chemical engineering was a mixture of chemistry and engineering, obviously. And it was a little bit more than just mechanical or something like that. And then I was never into the buildings and stuff like that. So civil engineering wasn't my kind of jam. And then as I got towards the end of that course, I liked the idea of doing shift work on oil refineries or something like that, where you can go and you can just spend a month there working loads, earning loads, and then you get a month off or however long it is to go and literally do whatever you want. And so that pushed me towards my master's, which was in petroleum engineering, which is technically, even though it is engineering, it's a master's in science, just because of how the courses work. And yeah, so I pushed to do petroleum engineering and then didn't even go down that route. Yeah.
That's cool. We'll talk about the shift as we go along in the podcast. I don't want to go into too much of that now, but that's interesting. Like, similar with me, I did hospitality management at uni. I did something completely different to that now. I've done various different things. So it just shows, like, whatever you do, you can do whatever you want to put your mind to, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you care enough and you want a specific way of life, is how I'd probably describe it, then you can work for it and do however. But I would say uni's always a great one. Yeah. Even if it's just for the experience.
More than anything, yeah. Even just refreshes you.
Yeah.
So then the final one is appearing in a Bollywood film.
Yeah.
So how did that come about then? You said you were travelling, but then it just seems so random.
Yeah. So a bit of backstory. I'm
a bit of context.
Yeah. So initially, I'm a big fan of travelling. I like seeing the world that hasn't changed too much. So like, if you go to some places, it's basically like the UK, but they speak a different language. Whereas I was more interested in seeing stuff that's less touched by technology and all that kind of stuff. So, which sounds a bit hippie, but not in that sense.
One of them.
So, yeah. So, me and my mate, first time round, we did Southeast Asia. We did a bit of a party and stuff like that, which got us more involved in traveling. So then, when I finished university, we said we'd go somewhere else, which became India. And so we set aside 6 months to go travel in India and actually seeing things rather than just going to the main places. And India wasn't really a partying place. I mean, we did a lot of partying in Southeast Asia, so it was a bit of contrast to that. And so, so we were traveling around anyway, and I'm always a bit of a yes man when I'm doing stuff like that. I don't like to say no to stuff, because I always think, even if it's a bad experience, that is in itself a good experience, because it's usually quite funny or something.
Good stories to tell.
Yeah. And we were going around, and there was like something going on when we were in a city, and we were like, oh, that looks cool, I wonder what that is. And it was based off the Diwali festival, so the festival of colour, which is where they throw paint around and stuff like that. And basically we were like, oh cool, I'd love to throw paint at the people. And so we looked a bit more into that, and then it went away, and we didn't hear much more about it until we were going to see some temple or something anyway. And there was a load of like bodyguards and a load of people around and loads of like camera equipment and stuff like that. We asked around the locals, and they're like, oh yeah, they're filming in town for, well, they didn't say it specifically like that, but we found out they were filming in town for a week. And we were there for a couple of days. So I said to my mate, I was like, we've got to get on this set. And so like I was just determined. I was like, right, we'll just play dumb foreigners and I'll get us on this set. So they're filming in the background, and there's security on all like the entrances and everything like that. And I was like, right, follow me. We went in, and I'm like, no, sorry, just looking around, like proper pretending to be dumb tourists.
Idiots abroad, yeah.
Yeah, which to be fair, we basically were. And anyway, edged onto the side of the set, and found the director or something like that. And we just kind of like stood around like mooching and things like that, and got speaking to some of the actors like, oh, can we get on? What's happening? What's it? And anyway, cut a bit of a long story short, we managed to bag ourselves like a day's work. Just off the bat, they were like, right, okay, we'll have some foreigners in there.
Everyone was Indian,
yeah. Well, pretty much. I think in the end, there turned out, I think there was 6 of us or something that we managed to get on for a day. And everyone else was like pros, there was like hired dancers, everything. And yeah, we were like, all right, okay. And they're like, you've got to dance.
Oh, no.
So we were like, I don't care. I'll take one. We'll dance. I just want to be on this set. So yeah, we spent a full day with all these professional dancers, not learning how to dance.
I was going to say, did you have any rehearsals or anything? No. Practice?
We had like 3 takes, and then after that they were like, that'll do. And
are you going to give us an example for the camera? Or?
No, not really, no. I'll just pretend that it was too long ago. But yeah, and so I think it wasn't quite a full day, but in the end we got, I think there was 2 or 3 scenes we did, and we got paid what I would class as a decent wage. I mean, it probably did us for a few days just off that. I think we were paid better than some of the people up there, which was mental.
Shocking.
Yeah, but yeah, we basically
to be dancers.
Yeah, I know. But we basically pushed our way on and got a few scenes in the Bollywood, which about as famous as I'll get, I guess. So,
like you say, it's a good story to tell, isn't it? Not many people can say that.
No.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, right, so they're the 3 facts. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to a little Mike growing up. So I know you said you grew up on a farm, but what would you say you were like growing up as a kid, if you can remember that far back?
Yeah, I've had a lot of knocks to the head since then. Yeah, just outside, living the life, always like on a bike or out messing around, something like that. Played rugby since I was like 4 or something, whenever you could start. Played rugby right through, and yeah, just spent most of my time on the farm really. My best mate lived just down in the village, so it was like about a mile, but he was up a hill. And so I pretty much did everything with him. We met up like most days. We would go, I don't know, in winter we'd sledge, so Dad would like use the tractor and build us jumps and stupid stuff like that. When it was like when summer came round, we were like always fishing in the rivers, fishing in the rivers. I don't know, we never really caught that much. Or we'd be rafting, or like we got Dad to build us like bikes or stupid stuff, and we'd make jumps, and we'd always be doing crazy stuff that would nearly kill us, which would drive Mum insane. But yeah, it kept us busy, kept us out of their hair, I guess.
Yeah, out of trouble maybe.
Well, not so much. I think. What they didn't know couldn't hurt them.
So would you say you just like enjoyed being like active, sporty, that kind of thing? Did you enjoy like the educational side of things?
No, I was never like really into the education as a kid or anything like that. I guess I would probably say I'm actually reasonably smart, but I just didn't care and didn't push myself until maybe uni. I guess I pushed a bit more then, but no, I was never really overly academic or overly sporty really. I just did everything outside, and I think I was naturally fairly strong just from being a farmer. But no, it wasn't like when we were out doing stuff, we didn't do it for sporty reasons. Like we played rugby, but when we were out, when we were on a bike or something, we were just doing a jump or doing like something stupid like that.
Adrenaline.
Yeah. And then same like rafting, we'd do it for fun, or like dumb stuff like that. We'd never do it for any particular fitness thing. We'd do challenges more so than sports or activities or anything like that. But I was never one to like go, academics.
That's interesting. So you said obviously you went that into sports. What interested you about rugby then?
I don't know. It's just always been my kind of go-to sport. Granddad always played it. Dad played it. I mean, I did when I got a bit older. I did play a variety of different sports. Obviously, played football. Yeah. At like primary school, we used to have different seasons really. So like World Cup season, you'd play football.
Yeah.
Like Wimbledon, you'd play tennis. Like, we'd go through stupid stuff like that, and just so you'd always be like playing a different sport. And so I can play all the different sports and everything like that. But I think rugby was just, I had a good friendship group there. We played, like Dad committed, and he would take us to every training and every match and everything like that. And it was just like the consistent thing. And I never really got the football sense of everyone's a bit of a wuss. Like I preferred the rugby sense of just get on with it and play.
Yeah, I was a footballer, that's why.
So I think it taught me quite a lot, because in rugby, simple things like there's just so much more respect and everything like that. And it is
no arguing with the referees and stuff.
No, and if you do something wrong in football, like you lose a ball or whatever, if you do something wrong and get smacked in rugby, like you know about it, like and if you're the weakness in the team, it's a lot easier to exploit because someone has run over you. Yeah. Right? So I feel like it's much more of a team sport than football was kind of, or like give it to the guy who's like really good at football, I guess, like, or doing tricks or who can shoot the best. Whereas rugby, if you're particularly weak or something in one area, you just get hammered because everyone uses that. That's your thing.
Yeah, in rugby it's either like a really tight game, isn't it, or then it's like 0 to like 50-0 or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never got injured playing rugby, to be fair, but I've been injured playing football, like broke my collarbone and hamstrings and everything like that. But
your collarbone?
A goalkeeper landed on me.
Get on.
Crossed it in, went for a header, landed on me, and he was like, "Get up, you fanny!" And I was just on the floor, just like, "Oh my god, this really hurts." Got up, and it went off, and then I was like, "This is really, really sore." I couldn't even move it, and then just went to hospital. I was sat there for like 4 hours, just in tears in A&E, just like, "Oh my god." But then, no, to be fair, that's a lie. I got concussion once playing rugby. Got flipped over. You go straight in for concussion, don't you? Because it's brain injuries and stuff.
I mean, I've had a concussion a few times. I've never gone straight.
Yeah, I don't even remember like playing the rest of the game or like getting changed or going home or anything. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think I've had my fair share of concussion in my life.
Yeah, but I did really enjoy playing rugby. That's probably the one thing I learned from secondary school.
Yeah,
I played scrum half, what position do you play?
Yeah, the one away from all. No, like rugby became like much more of a thing as I got into secondary, and then a massive step up. When I went to uni, I played like every sport I could. I just wanted to like exercise and drink with all the social teams and all that kind of stuff. Played a lot of American football, which
I remember you saying,
which boosted my rugby quite considerably. I think I was an average rugby player up until then. I think because I didn't commit myself to it that much. And then when I went to uni, I got like 10 times better from wanting to play a bit more and playing at a bit harder level and all that kind of stuff. But
what made you want to go to uni then? Because obviously you said you weren't that bothered about the academic side of things. Was it just like kind of just it was a given thing? The school system just said, "Oh, you do your GCSEs, your A levels, you go to uni," or what was the thought process?
Well, by that point, I decided I didn't want to be a farmer. I realised
why was that then?
Winter is pretty rough, and that you work every single day, and just life's not fair in a few. Like, I mean, everything gets ill. So like if an animal gets ill, they're not your pet, but you feel for them, and like anything can happen, or like stuff can change in an instant. Like simple things like the weather could change, it could ruin your crops for the whole year, which makes everything harder. Or like you could let the cows out in summer and one could fall and break its leg or something like that. And you just invested in everything so much more. I mean, like in this business, I could drop a pallet of dumbbells, like I'm not emotionally attached to those dumbbells. Okay, it's a monetary loss or whatever, but those dumbbells are inanimate. They have no sense, feeling, anything like that. Whereas when you're dealing with animals, even if they're not your pets, if anything bad happens, it does take its toll on you. And if you think like your lamb, 1,500 lambs a year, you're bound to get like one's got a birth defect, like one's born super early, like the sheep has an issue during lambing or something like that. And it's like if it only happens once a year or something like that, or you only have 10 sheep, it's not too much of a problem. When you're lambing thousands, you're guaranteed to have issues. That's just fact. And so even though it's one of the better times a year, you still got to deal with like a crow takes the eyes out of a lamb, or like it goes out and a fox takes it, or something like that. And you just and everything has a consciousness at that point. So that's a bit naff. But yeah, like winter, you just, every day is just naff weather. Oh, it snowed again. You got to hand feed all the animals, this, that, and the other. And so it's an awful lot of work. And then like the reward you get is minimal, and it's mostly self-driven. So like if you have a really good lambing, it's more of a mental boost because you're like, yeah, we had a good lambing. Like, although you do get a small financial boost, you probably have to deal with more issues financially, as in someone's not willing to pay a certain price for the lamb or anything like that. So it's not really the kind of thing I wanted to do initially, when I thought, well, I want to earn some money in my life. So the best bet is to go to uni, and then I've got a chance of getting a better job, was the kind of theory. And at that point, you've not really got that much invested in it. Someone like, for example, if you stack shelves at Morrison's or something, you go in, you stack shelves all day, you get paid, you leave. And so like, you're not invested in anything. So initially I wanted to get away from that investment. Obviously that didn't happen in the end. I've got my own business now, but that was the plan. And then I wanted the uni life and experience as well. So there's like quite a few things that built up to me going to uni, really.
Yeah, that's cool. So then how did you find uni as a whole? So obviously you said about why you picked the courses and stuff early, didn't you? But how did you find the whole experience?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I definitely partied too hard to begin with. Well,
where did you go again?
I went over to Teesside.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
And yeah, like my first year, because I'd not pushed myself academically, I was very much in my comfort zone in the first year, and everything was super easy.
It doesn't count in the first year, does it?
And so I used to do like rugby, American football, I did rowing, and then I had like my housemates and my course mates. And so I was just out every night. There was so much to do. Coming from Penrith as well, where you've got
nothing.
2 nights a week at best, and there's like one club. Like you go there and there's something on every night, and it's in a different place. And the beer was so cheap. Like there was always deals on. There was always people you knew going out, and so I was just like partying my life away. Still doing well at uni because it was easy, and then just playing sports. And that kind of continued for the first few years anyway. And I narrowed my sports down a bit because I didn't really have the time to train them all. To begin with, I was doing like a couple of sports a day even. So like on a Thursday, I would do my rowing, and then literally get changed and be out on the pitch for American football. And yeah, it was kind of taking its toll. And I just started up doing CrossFit as well. So I was just done in all the time, from loads of exercise, not a lot of sleep, loads of drinking. And yeah, and I was just like sleeping in lectures. So, not a monster at all.
You think back and like, how could you do it? Because you wouldn't be able to do it now, would you?
No. Well, I mean, I don't really drink now. So
that's when you took up CrossFit then at uni, yeah?
Yeah.
What interested you about that?
I'm not entirely sure, actually. I was kind of just looking for a gym. Actually, no, that's a lie. No. So I didn't start in first year, but I think I came back for summer after first year. And they were doing like GB trials when we went back in October or something like that. So I came back and I was looking for a gym in Penrith, and the gyms were pretty crap, and like there's the normal gyms. And I'd heard, I was like, oh, there's this CrossFit gym. And I went there and I spoke to Johnny, and I was like, right, I don't want to do any CrossFit crap, because I was one of those, it was like, oh, CrossFit's all lame, like everything like that. I was like, I don't want to do any CrossFit crap. I just want somewhere to train where I can come at whatever time and do whatever I need to do and go, because there's like some standards you need to hit for GB American football. And he was like, all right, whatever, but you'll have to do some sessions with me when I train. And I was like, yeah, no worries, I'll do some of his naff stuff. And yeah, after a few sessions training with him, he was absolutely ruined my life. So you'd go and you do some heavy squats, and then he'd ruin you in a Metcon, and I was like, he's absolutely smashing me around. And I thought I was fit because I did all these sports and everything like that. And more, I would do more with him. And it's competitive. CrossFit's competitive because you can always put a number to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, how many reps did you do? What weight did you do? How quickly did you do it? And so it just built up and built up. Before I knew it, there was like, I was joining in with, there was a group of us, maybe between 5 and 10 people that would go at a certain time every day, and we'd go and we'd do like hard workouts and we'll smash each other and all that kind of stuff. And so by the end of summer, I was very much into CrossFit and I started doing it. So when I went back to uni, I just found the local CrossFit there and just a similar kind of thing. There was 2 in the area. One of them we went to test out, and didn't get on with him at all. He was a bit of an arse, really. And then the other one was kind of just like an empty room, and it wasn't really what we had back over in Penrith. But I was like, it's a space, I can do my stuff. And at that point, I was doing my own training and everything like that. So then I was just smashing CrossFit then as well, but
cool.
doing my own thing. So.
Yeah. Interesting. So then when you finished uni then, obviously you did your masters, what was kind of like the next steps after that?
So like I said before, I went straight traveling, and I was kind of determining what I was going to do when I was traveling. I was finding myself. No, that's completely untrue.
That's what you tell your parents, isn't it?
I just wanted to go traveling, and then I would go from there. And prior to going traveling, I was speaking to a mate, and we were going to set up a gym near Glasgow. And so I'd done an awful lot of research into equipment and what the differences are and stuff like that. I don't like to just buy something or do something for the sake of it. So I like to know about it, and that's why I did all the research. And so I already knew where things were made and how they were made and what the differences were with like gym equipment. And my mate had a lot of health issues, and it was kind of like, it's not wise to do this. And so I was like, well, I'll see if I can make anything of what I've done. And so I looked at different gym options and things like that, and the scaling wasn't really there for me. So in like CrossFit gyms and just owning a gym, the money's not as good as like you'd want it to be. I know that sounds kind of like dumb, like, oh, you should be happy with whatever, but like I think everything should be scalable.
Would you have to have multiple locations?
That's what you would have to do, and you rely on way too many people. You need all your coaches, you need like
team members,
cleaners,
everything.
You either do it all yourself or you get people to do it, and then you're relying on loads of different people, and it kind of gets out of control before you can get the revenue up enough. And so I thought, well, I know where everything's made, I know the difference with stuff, I'll maybe invest and see if I can make something of a brand, of like equipment brand. And funnily enough, I actually started it from a mini tablet thing in India. Like that's how I started my business, because I wanted everything set up, and like I didn't want to be waiting ages when I got home. And so I set it all up, made my first orders, and all that kind of stuff while I was out in India, which was a fairly stressful time because the internet wasn't the best, to say the least. And it was running off like an old phone hotspot thing back before 4G, so it was like probably 1G what I was getting. and that's just how it evolved. I mean, like while I was out there, some dead time was just used chatting to different suppliers and seeing what I could do, and then made the leap while I was out there, knowing it would be like about a month production and then what I thought would be about a month delivery, which turned out an awful lot more than that. And obviously nothing's ever easy, is it? So, but that was also back when there was a lot of things that were a lot harder to do back then. Like getting in touch with suppliers was harder. I mean, it's probably 7 years ago now, something like that. And getting stuff delivered was harder, and just the whole process was a bit harder. Yeah, and I decided that I wanted to do it from a mini tablet
in India.
I was actually closer to where it was getting made.
I was going to say, you should have popped into the suppliers. Can you remember what your first order was?
Oh, there was an awful lot of loads of random stuff in it. Yeah, it was a full container load, so there was an awful lot of stuff in it. But it was I made the mistake when I started of getting like bits of everything rather than bulk of certain things. So stock was a massive issue to begin with.
So you sold out a couple of things quick then, I imagine, and then a few things you just had for ages.
Yeah, 100%. And also when I set up, I was working out of like little bits of space I could find here, there, and everywhere. I didn't have the money for like a spot like this or anything. I didn't have a forklift. I didn't like, everything was like manual handling. Like it was hidden away in corners of just whatever space I had. Like mum's dining room was just, I came back from like traveling for 6 months, moved back in with mum, and I was like, by the way, I'm taking the dining room. and yeah, so it was an interesting start, but yeah, stocking and getting stuff in was different. Like now, if you think back, you would go, oh, get all of one thing, so you know you've got stock of it, and then
hindsight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. So, had you always wanted to have your own business then?
No. Initially, I thought I just want to work for someone and they'll pay me. And just do what they say.
Easy life, yeah.
Because I like the idea of it, but like from living on the farm and just working, and the emotional attachment to it. And so, sorry, my dog's doing something that he shouldn't be.
Do you want to go and check on him?
No, he sounds like he's calmed down. Sorry, yeah. No, so I didn't want to be. I like the idea of being your own boss, but I thought easy life, work 9 to 5, and
get paid, no stress, headaches, and that. Yeah,
exactly.
I have those days sometimes, though. Still.
yeah, 100%. Oh, I still have them many. And then when I was coming out of uni, I was like, oh, do you know what? If I can work for myself and be my own boss, I think that'll be miles better. And then I looked at the numbers. I'm quite a numbers guy, and I was like, oh, all I need to do is make this much, and then I'm paying myself this much, and like it doesn't take like you don't have to be Elon Musk. You don't have to be making billions to make what you would like if you're working 40-hour weeks to make like the same amount of money as stacking shelves in Morrison's doesn't take all that much.
Not at all, no.
So if you can commit yourself to something, it makes your life more and less stressful, because as a general rule, the stress is pretty low in the fact that if I'm half an hour late for work, it's not the end of the world. Or if I need to do something or take a day off or whatever, it's not the biggest stress in the world.
Freedom, isn't it, kind of thing? Yeah.
But at the same time, like if I've got a 20 grand order on and it's late and then I'm getting chewed out, and then obviously the stress is higher at those stages. But yeah, I don't think I would have made a different choice.
That's cool. Because I think it's interesting, isn't it, like listening, because when you go back to maybe when you were 18 to then when you're 22, 23, how it's completely shifted, isn't it, from going from the oil rigs to then open to a gym and then that and then starting fitness equipment. So obviously you did your first order then in India. So then you said when you moved back after traveling, you moved back in with your mum and dad, and then you had all this equipment. And then how did it kind of go from there? Then what was kind of like the thought process, or what did you learn? Any mistakes?
A lot of learning and mistakes. No, it was just whatever I could do to like do a little bit here, a little bit there. Like there was a lot of things that I'd never even thought of, like how much does it cost to make a website? Spoiler, quite a lot. Like stupid things like that. And you're like, all right, so now I've got to make my own website because I can't afford to pay someone to do that. And then you go, oh, right, how am I going to ship these things? Because they weigh a lot. And then you're like trying to, I don't know, 22 or whatever I was. And I'm like trying to negotiate like deals with companies that I've never like spoken to in the past about how many I might send or what the sizes are or what I'm going to do. And so I'm like negotiating how to get them away from me. And then I'm also negotiating with people how to get containers to me better, and dealing with suppliers and you're like, oh, I want to change a little thing, or I want to do this, I want to do that. And so everything was just learning process. Like everything you thought you could think of, you had to learn. Like I had to be an expert in every item that I had, because if a supplier goes like, oh, we need to do this, or we can't do that, can you do that? You've got to know the process. Like you've got to know that this kind of kettlebell's cast. So in order to cast that, you need a full cast made to change any logo stuff. So like at the beginning, like you'd pay for a logo and you'd not think 6 months ahead, and you'd go, oh, it would have been better if we'd done this, or it would have been better, like, and you've spent 1,500 quid on the molds for it or something like that. So you learn a lot by your mistakes. I mean, I was still working like 2 jobs, maybe 3, and so I was like packing everything myself. I was like having to drive into town to post stuff at wherever I could find it cheapest, and all that kind of stuff, while still like working on the farm for the first year at least solid, and then like working pub work, working whatever, and then all the money I was getting, it wasn't as I'm working 3 jobs, getting paid 3 times as much and living the life. I was working 3 jobs, investing everything in the company, and then borrowing and stealing like whatever I could to get anywhere. Like, oh, mum, I need your sellotape. What do you mean you need sellotape? Well, I've run out of mine. I can't afford some more. Right, okay, here's the sellotape. Like all that kind of stuff. And yeah, every step is just learning a different thing.
Don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, well, that's it. And the only bad mistake is the one you make twice.
Yeah.
But no, it was quite good, but sometimes you'd wish, like 6 months, you'd be like, I just don't want to have any issues. Next day you'd have an issue.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
When it's going too smooth and too well, there's something bad around the corner, isn't there? Always. So then how did it go on then? This is obviously the first year you're busy working jobs, investing all the money into the business and that kind of thing. So when did you see it really start to pick up, or what do you think was the factor that helped it kind of pick up and you do it into full time maybe?
I changed a few techniques with how I marketed. So we started doing competitions where no one, like, this was unheard of almost, like we'd just sponsor a competition with all the equipment, or we'd be renting it out, which was very much another learning process.
So in competitions, it's not like giveaways, isn't it? It's actually actually like fitness, CrossFit competitions, isn't it?
Yeah, so in CrossFit you have competitions where everyone comes together, and because everything's got a number, a weight, a time or something, you all compete against each other in individuals, pairs, mixed pairs, teams, however you fancy. You do a competition and like use loads of different types of equipment all in one, like use your sports hall or whatever on a field, wherever it is. And so obviously these competitions need equipment. And so I used to compete an awful lot. And so I was like, well, I could sponsor these. Then all my equipment's in front of everyone. So we were one of the first doing that. And that was quite a big boost, because it was getting equipment in people's hands, and then also we were there on site with a stand and all that kind of stuff. But that was a major learning point, because firstly you learn people are useless. That's one of the main things. But no, so you've got to ship all the equipment about, so you've got to ship it there, ship it back, which is another expense. And then you rely on people to do what they're going to say they're going to do. So like, yeah, no worries, we'll unload when it gets here. And then like you get a bill from the haulier company, because there was one person unloading, it took 5 hours, and so you get a massive cost from that. And, oh yeah, no worries, we'll put it back on the pallets to ship back. And then you get a phone call that morning, like, oh yeah, no one put it on pallets, and so you have to drive over like two hours or whatever, spend your whole day palletizing everything, still get a bill from the haulier because they had already turned up. And so that was another massive learning process, but it was great for exposure. And while you were actually there at the event, you could sell stuff. So, I mean, like, if you can talk to people, you can sell something to someone. And so, yeah, you would take a few thousand at each event, which was really good back then. Like, and yeah, you could make connections to people, show a face, and all that kind of stuff. And that made quite a good turnaround and just got a lot of exposure. And then it just slowly built.
What made you want to do the competitions in the first place? And like you said, not many people were doing it, but what kind of like sparked that idea?
Why not? Yeah. So, because I used to go to these competitions to compete anyway, I was willing to just like kind of double it up. So I was like, right, well, I'll sponsor the competition because I'm going to be there anyway. So I'll compete. And then when I'm not competing, I'll be on the stand. Yeah. And then like whoever else was there with me, often my sister or Emily or someone, they could just stand on their stand for the 10 minutes that I'm competing, and then I'll crawl back after my event and do the stand again, which it was all right. It's hard because it's 2 long days and you're competing. So there's a lot of like stress mixed in and a bit of everything really. But I thought it was kind of an easy way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And it worked. I mean, it was a lot of effort and it was a lot of time. Like back then when CrossFit was basically my life. So I used to compete. I used to train like every day of the week and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't too bad because I didn't have anything else on. I didn't have a life. I didn't because I was working so much, training so much. I was just 100% CrossFit. Yeah. So me spending my weekend at a CrossFit event was almost good. Like it was something I would want to do anyway. And so it looked kind of like a no-brainer. Obviously things change and now for me to think that I'm going to do 9-5 Monday, Friday working plus any bits that spill over. And then Friday, as soon as I finish work, load a van, drive to a competition, spend Friday to Sunday night at the competition, get back midnight Sunday, and then do Monday, Friday again. It's one of those where you go, that's not, I mean, I still do a little bit of CrossFit now, but nowhere near as much. And life just is completely different. Yeah. So it's just, it's a different way now.
So competition is really the big thing then for you that changed?
Yeah, I would say that was the main thing that changed it. I mean, we've had quite a few changes. I mean, one of the biggest things was changing what I ordered. So after the first order, we sold some things and like I said, ran out of stock, but I didn't have the cash flow to just shell out a full container load again. Back then it was about 1,500 quid to get the container over here. So just the shipping portion. And so even just to shell out that back when you've just set up and you've piled all your own money in, that's a decent whack of money. And so I had to wait until I'd sold enough to have A, the space, B, the money to do it, and C, enough to fill a container. So yeah, it was like when I changed that up and I was like, right, well, I'll get most of a container full of bumpers or dumbbells or something like that. And then I would have enough stock to not just sell one and it's gone, if you know what I mean. But at the start I thought, if I get 2 of everything, then I've got it looks like I've got loads of stock. And then you sell one thing and it's out of stock for 12 minutes.
You learned it, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like what's next for Assassin's Goods then? What would you say in the near future?
I'm not entirely sure if there's no real massive change. So as you know, we've recently just moved into this new warehouse.
Yeah.
So
it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Way bigger. 3 times bigger than the last one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than 3 times the storage space, but it's about 3 times the actual space. Yeah. And so we just moved into here. So getting stock levels up, getting properly set up here, and ironing out a few imbalances in stock because I mean, obviously COVID and the lockdowns messed with stocking of loads of different items, and then knock on from that was a delay of manufacturing. So then that put other items of stock really high, and then other stuff's low. And so flattening out the stock levels and getting them up to where we kind of need them to be, and getting more things in place that are like a proper long-term plan. Because I can't remember, we must have had 4 or 5 years before COVID, which was building and moving and loads of stuff changing. So we never really got a massive long-term plan. And then when COVID hit, that just threw everything out the window. And so we didn't really have a plan through that. It was just scrabbling everything together and doing what you could. And then, so like now's the first bit where we can actually get a long-term plan. And we're pretty much sorted on getting stock stuff ordered. Just needs to get here now. And then we've sorted our marketing structure out, content and all the things that you kind of put to the back of your mind because you don't want to have to deal with them, basically. Yeah. Getting all those sorted and moving forward in that sense.
Yeah, because it'd be good to get the competitions back, won't it?
Yeah, we've looked at them a few times and it's kind of there, but we've not fully committed yet. But I think once we've got finished sorted this year, I think we've got the stock, the capacity and everything to do it next year. It's just, there's a lot of logistical things.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly getting it back, because for us to send pallets out, we strap them, rewrap them, they're like in good nick and they send out. But then once a load of volunteers have unpacked the pallets over there, ripped all the boxes to bits, put everything everywhere, and then to rely on someone at that end to pack it and strap it, well, no doubt all the straps have just been cut, they've not been undone, they don't have pallet wrap or anything like that. And so all of that means that when you get it back, it's all mashed or something like that. Yeah. So we're looking at getting some purpose-built pallets. Like if you have a pallet and all it fits is bumper plates,
put the bumper plates on there. Idiot-proof.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing. And easy as well. Quick, easy, and idiot-proof. Idiots will do the easiest thing they can, especially if they're not getting paid. Yeah. So you got to think of it like that. And which, again, there's a lot of... sounds really easy, but if you've got to design a pallet that gets bumper plates, it's really easy. But if you've got to get a certain number of bumper plates and they've all got to fit without someone messing it up, and you want to maximize the pallet space, because minimize the pallet space used, because it costs money per pallet. So there's a lot of stuff.
It's all the things that you don't think of, isn't it? Initially,
yeah, all the less fun stuff as well, isn't it? But
just costs time and more money.
Yeah, exactly. Every time. No one wants to be spending like thousands of pounds on pallets that literally just transport sponsorship gear back and forward, but
saved in the long term, won't it?
Yeah.
Right, so let's go on to everyone's favourite part of the podcast, relationship advice. I know you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's anonymous, so we'll name them. So if it's a boy or a girl, we'll give them an anonymous name. Then I'll give it, and then we'll give the advice.
Oh, right, okay.
Because people love this on TikTok. So, right. So
I can't imagine anyone worse for this than me. But
you've been in a relationship, how long?
Yeah, yes. Exactly how long? 7 years. But...
See, that was something, right?
Yeah, but I don't know how long. Suggest maybe.
Let's hope Emily's not watching this. So this is going to be a boy. What are we calling him?
John,
right. So
start with easy names.
John's messaged in. So he's been speaking to a new girl lately for the last couple of weeks. So this girl's recently split up with her boyfriend,
right?
But she's still meeting him behind this guy's back. So apparently he found her on Snap Maps. Snap Maps? Have you seen Snap Maps? I don't have Snapchat, so you can find the location.
Oh, right,
and then he's like called her out. She didn't tell him, but then when he called her out, she said she was meeting her ex. What do you think he should do?
Stay away from that. That's a mess. That. Nah, I don't know. It's one of those that I think probably stay clear. That would be my initial thoughts.
I don't know what's worse. So like him going on this Snap Maps to find the location of the girl, or her meeting the ex behind that new guy's back, but she didn't recently split with him.
Yeah, I mean. That's paranoia, that Snap Maps thing. I would say, yeah, chill out, mate, because you'll only find bad things on that. What else are you going to find? Oh, she's on her way home from work. Right, okay, that's fine. I would stop using that, because that's going to be just the worst.
Okay, so stop using that. And what do you reckon? Pie her off, or?
I would say she's clearly just still wanting to get back,
Yeah. All right.
Maybe if it was like she'd broken up a long time ago and they were meeting for a coffee or something. I guess it depends what she says when he asks her about it.
Yeah, we need more info on that. Okay. Yeah, so this is another one.
Next week.
We'll get you back. This is another one. So about exes. So this is a girl. So no, this is another boy. Sorry, this is another boy. That's what we call him.
Ooh, Jeremy,
right.
Sticking with the J's here.
Jeremy messaged in. So him and his girlfriend have recently splitting up, but they're still living together. So they live in a house, right? But then they said until they move out, they're not going to be seeing anyone else.
Right, okay.
And that kind of thing. But he's found out that she's been seeing other boys.
Right.
And then it all kicked off. And then she's eventually said she wants to get back with him.
Oh, there's some messy situations.
So what should he do?
God, this is another stay away. No, I think the initial thing, if you've said you split up and you're just living together, I think it's only natural that she would probably end up meeting someone else. I mean, unless she completely voids herself of guys in her life while living. So I think that's kind of should have been expected. But the fact that she's wanted to get back, why did they break up? Like, there's a lot more needed to be known.
But need more info.
Yeah, you need a longer section for them to tell you what's going on. But no, that's a hard one, because it could just be that because they live together, like
comfortable.
Yeah, and you miss the things because you notice it all the time. But there's obviously something there, split them up, even though they were living together. So
what should you do?
Stay away. You've got to address what broke you up in the first place, haven't you?
Yeah.
Really? And then go from there.
Right. So, last one. This is another boy. What we're calling him?
God,
3 boys. Yeah, all boys messaging today.
I don't know. I've had to.
All right. We'll call him Josh.
Sticking with the J's again.
So he's been speaking to this girl for 2 months now.
Right. Get married. No.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I reckon 2 months.
Yeah. Right. Get married. He was going to say, how should he ask her to be his girlfriend?
Well, that would definitely step it up a notch.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting one, because I think technically, I don't think I've ever said that to my other half. No.
So you're still technically single?
Yeah. So, no, I'd say
she just kind of stuck around.
Yeah, exactly. I think with those kind of things, it just kind of develops, and you get to a point where you're like, oh, well, and the first stage is, I'm not seeing anyone other than you, or I'm not even looking, or whatever they say.
So you're like exclusive
Tinder,
kind of thing. Yeah.
Whatever they say. I don't know. Tinder wasn't really a thing back in the day.
You still haven't got Tinder, have you?
No, still waiting on that. I think they're past that, aren't they? Bumble and Hinge and stuff.
Bumble and Hinge are the one, yeah.
No, yeah. So I think you just develop past that point, and you go like, oh, you like, are they seeing other people, or are you kind of just exclusive or whatever? And then I think, I don't know, do you need to make it official, or does it just develop over time? Because
apparently Josh thinks he does.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Just get on Facebook.
Just on a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Relationship. Because I saw because I've watched a bit of Love Island this year.
Of course you have.
Yeah, I didn't watch the end of it because I was away.
Of course you
I was in Marbella, they didn't show it then. And then one of the couples put like a video on Instagram the other day, like they've got a swimming pool with like rose petals, and he bought like a Cartier bracelet and stuff. Yeah. Like, that's a bit too much, isn't it? Really?
Different life to how I live.
And the balloons in the pool saying, will you be my girlfriend, and that kind of thing. Right. So would you say Josh to do that or not?
Depends on Josh's budget, I would have said. So I don't know, because I do think that, well, maybe you could ask or something like that, but I think things develop, don't you? It's kind of almost obvious. Yeah. Just like talk it through. And
it's when it feels right, innit? And say, should we be boyfriend, girlfriend?
Like, just like, is this kind of official now? Yeah. Cool, I'll add you on Facebook.
The thing is, it's coming from boys, and girls think completely different, don't they? Yeah, they'd love to be 100%. Like wined and dined.
Oh, if Emily was on this, she would be like, she'd be absolutely having me. Yeah.
I have to cut it and then get her on.
Just little snippet.
So Josh, do it when the time's right, innit? Yeah. So, right, closing thoughts on the podcast. So any advice to maybe any young aspiring business owners or entrepreneurs and that kind of thing? Would you give anyone any advice? Do you want to start anything?
I would go for it. Think about all the options and think about it properly. I mean, you can't just like YOLO into it or something like that. There's got to be a reasonable reason for it. But I would say if you're your own boss, you can work harder than if you're working for someone, there's only so much work you're going to do. So you can work, if you're working for yourself, you're getting everything back. You can choose like your hours, you can choose what you're doing and everything. So I think if you're willing to put in the work, the reward's definitely there. Even if it's not just a monetary reward, like you can choose your holidays, you can choose like, I don't know, are you going to have today off? Are you going to work harder to make more money or work less to have more free time? Like you can expand or just stick at a certain size. You can, the options are endless, but you do have to commit. So I would say if you're thinking about it, research it loads, look at the options, look at the competitors, look at what other people are doing, and then give it a go. Because I think if you don't give it a go, you're always like, oh, well, I could have done this, could have done that. If you give it a go and it fails, fall back on whatever your other thing is. Like if this had failed for me, I would probably be on the oil rigs or something. I would have fallen back on my degree. I think it's potentially important to have something to fall back on, or at least be in a position where you're knowledgeable enough to do something with your life other than that. Like, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. I'm going to say go back to this Morrison shelf stacking, but
you got something against them, haven't you?
no, it's just
a vendetta against Morrison,
no,
not Asda or Tesco.
First thing that I thought of. But like, if you're going everything in, you've got to remember that if you don't have anything to fall back on, you could end up with a job stacking shelves or something like that, like a low-skilled, boring job.
Yeah, menial tasks.
Yeah, which doesn't earn you much money. So then you've got to think, like, are you set up in a way where you could live how you want to off £10 an hour or whatever? Like, I mean, even McDonald's is offering £10 an hour now. So, like, can you work £10 an hour in McDonald's and live the life you wanted to if you fail? And can you take failure? Because even in mine, like, there's different steps where you fail. It's not a full failure, but it's a step back, definitely. An order could go wrong, a product could fail, it could be anything, whatever you're doing. So you've got to be able to face failure, basically.
That's a very, very good point. Definitely clip that. But yeah, right. Thank you very much for being on the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good, actually. Yeah.
We've been just over an hour as well.
There
you
we
were
go,
thinking, an hour? How are we going to take that long? So right, if you're listening on, if you watch on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment your favourite part. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.
Wait, give more information on the relationship section.
Yeah. Oh, and also, where do you want people to follow you?
Instagram at Assassin Goods, same with Facebook, or just assassingoods.com.
Perfect. And see you next time. Bye, 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 bye.